Hi, fifth graders. We are doing a research portfolio for ELA, and because you have to do research on someone from U.S. history for social studies, instead of doing two separate things, why not do one research project portfolio for both? So it's like a 2-for-1 deal. You never want to pass those up. So this is what you have to do first, okay? So this is going to count as your draft, okay? You have to come up with your thesis statement for your research portfolio. This is the why of your portfolio. And you're not doing an essay. You are doing a PowerPoint, and I have already created a slideshow deck for you. All you have to do is type the information in. I have every single page set up for you, so it's pretty easy when it comes to navigating and what do I have to do. It's almost impossible to forget to add something because I have it on the page telling you what you have to do on slide 2, slide 3, and so forth. So first things first, you need to come up with your thesis statement. So I'm going to go over these directions. This is directions. You will choose a person or event from the 1800s to the early 1900s. Don't go beyond 1940. Okay, I want the early part of the 1900s. It must be a U.S. person or event, and it has to be someone that contributed to change U.S. history. Okay, it has to relate to changing the history. It's someone who was in our history textbook, someone that you read about, not just an inventor. It needs to be someone that's relating to history. Okay, not a scientist making changes. That's cool and all, but that's more for science research. We are researching a U.S. person in history. So you also need to come up with compelling questions. A compelling question is something that really takes you deeper and you're not answering yes or no. Okay, it is, I'm going to show you down below some examples, but this question is going to be what your entire, I know this says essay, I should probably change that, portfolio is about. So let's look at these examples right here. This is not compelling. Who was the first president of the United States? Well, I can answer that with one word, George Washington. That's not compelling. Compelling is where it keeps going. So you could say, why was George Washington chosen? Or how was George Washington selected? Or what made George Washington a great leader? Do you see what I'm saying here? Those kinds of questions are compelling when it takes it deeper. This one, who was the first president? Boom, I can answer it with two words because George Washington, two separate words. But these other ones, the why was George Washington chosen? How was George Washington chosen? What made George Washington a great leader? Those are deep. Those are things that you could look up online and do your research on. Also, here's another one. Why did the Europeans come to America? We're not going to be right about that. But over here, why did people agree to become indentured servants in America? So you are going to come up with your who or what. You need to have a big, compelling question, okay? And right here, it says, how did some mistakes cause some of the battles in the Civil War begin? This is an example of one. So this is a deep one. I definitely don't recommend doing Civil War just because you could do a battle in the Civil War, but don't do Civil War because it's way too big. Also, you need to restate the question into a statement. So don't make it a question. Take your question here and turn it into a statement. See, it says, how did some of the mistakes cause some of the battles? Right here it says some battles that caused the Civil War were mistakes. Okay, I turned it into a statement. And then if you're teaching your reader something, then boom, you have your compelling thesis statement. So go ahead and fill this out and turn this in and follow the rest of these directions here. Now what? Now that you have this done, I will look it over and give you feedback, and then you can create your PowerPoint. Okay, so I mentioned a PowerPoint or slideshow instead of doing an essay. So you're going to have the links in your lesson intro notes that I'm going to put before each unit when it's due. But in case you want to have more information or more time to look, right here I created a tab in my Padlet, Social Studies and ELA Final Portfolio Info. So we just went over this part right here, okay? We just did this together. Okay, and then I have research places right here that are safe for kids. Use them, please. I'm going to tell you, well, it's not on here though. Ducksters is really good too. So I'll add that one on there. So anyways, so let's just say you're going to research a person, okay? And hopefully you're researching the person that you did in an interview in social studies in the last unit. That would be the smart thing to do. Why work harder? Work smarter, okay? So let's just say you're doing a biography. Biography is about a person, okay? So open this up and you'll be able to download it yourself. And remember, to download, you push these 3 little buttons and you download it. I'm going to do that. Oh, great. I'm having issues. Okay, let's just pretend that did not happen. And let me see how I can get back. Hold on. Okay, so anyway, so this is the template right here. I'm going to scroll through. I'm very sorry. Give me one moment. Here we go. I pushed the wrong button. So here's your template, and it'll say biography. Here's where your presentation begins. Anytime you see these little picture things, you don't have to put the picture inside this little picture frame, this little Kodak picture. But this will tell you where you're going to put a picture. So if you're doing a biography on George Washington, let's say, I'm going to keep with that theme, you would put his face right here. And you would say biography, George Washington, by, and you put your name. You could even get rid of biography and put George Washington here in bold, and then put your name. Here's the table of contents. Don't do anything with this, okay? You leave this alone. This is for the reader, which is me, to tell me I know what's coming, because you have to introduce your person. You need to identify the important things in their life, their events, a couple famous quotes that they had, interesting facts, and a bibliography. You must have a bibliography. That is where you got your information. So if you only did, let's say Ducksters.com, you need to make sure you have one more. Okay, you cannot just have one resource. So who is your person? You're going to type over this. You're going to put George Washington, if that's who you're doing. But our research is from 1800 on, so make sure you pick someone that's within that time range, okay? This is where you're going to get rid of all of this right here. This is just telling you what you need. So you would put when he was born, when he died, where they were born, where they grew up, and so forth. So you're just going to type over top of these. I know Jupiter and Mars, that's science, but this is just showing you the main points of that person's life. You're going to type over these. You don't need to have 6, but you need to have a few. And then event, one historical event that they were part of. Another one. And another one. 3 main events, like 3 things that they did in U.S. history to change the way that history was. And then you would type in here the dates when they had those events, the name of their event, and so forth. And then give me a famous quote and a picture. Another one, famous quote and a picture. And interesting facts. And your bibliography. I'm also going to share out an example from last year, and no one will be allowed to research that person because I don't want you to copy it. But I'll show you what a good example is.